Hello again, everybody, and welcome to episode 38, the sunset edition of going through this 1971 Topps Vending box, the sunset edition, because the Twins in the sunset of their 2023 season, losing to the Astros in the playoffs last night, and we are on the sunset of this vending box. It was an unopened vending box that I won in a REA auction at the end of last year, and we've been gradually going through. We're down to the final bit of cards, and I'm going to go ahead and finish it off today and see what we get. And then after that, we will finish going through the 1965 Topps set that we're going through. And there's a pack here, some of the cards we've gotten so far. It's been a lot of fun going through this. We are hoping for a Seaver or bench, especially a K-line would be nice. We've only got one of each of those so far out of these 500 cards. 132 cards in this series, so on average 3 to 4 per card, but we have gotten 6 Rod Carews and 6 Ron Santos, I think 5 Willie Stargells. So that's what happens when you go through a vending box. You're going to get a variety of numbers of different cards from each. But here we go, our last little bit. This is going to be probably more than a pack's worth here, but we got a Stan Bonson, then we got a coin checklist. Got a Buck Martinez. Been a good Blue Jay announcer for a while. Got a Bob Tillman. Looks like a nicely centered card. We've got a couple really nice Bob Tillmans out of this group so far, and another Stan Bonson. It's the second time we've gotten 2. We had Ed Herman twice, and one of the other opens. We've got Phil Hennigan here. We've got the Orioles in their ousting of the Twins in this playoffs. I guess that hits it on the money for what just happened with the Astros. And we get another Phil Hennigan, another double card. So the end of this box here had some similar cards close to each other. We get a Cecil Upshaw. Looks like a real nice card. We've got a Billy Wilson. We get a Padres rookies. We get the National League playoff, game number 2 here. Bobby Tolan scoring, Manny Sanguillen there catching. We've got a Alan Gallagher card. That looks pretty nice. Been overall real happy with this vending box. I don't know if I'm making my money's worth, probably not, but it's just been a lot of fun doing it, and a lot of great cards, great centering on many of these cards. Just terrific corners for 71s that are so tough. Mac Jones, and looks like here's our last one, is a Bill Sudeikis. Bill's one of those real low pop report cards. Only one, it's 1 PSA 9, and highest SGC is an 8. That one, the centering is not going to get it in the 9 range, but nice corners. Super color, nice card. That is my last card of this 71 vending. All right. There's who we got today in our pack, probably pack and a half about worth of cards. And with that, let's go ahead and finish our 1965 set. We went through the National League. I've got these in teams, so went through the National League on the first go round, and here's where we finished off and are going to go through. So Starts with the World Series cards in this 65 set. I think it's a pretty cool set. Like I said, it's not my favorite 60 set, but it is still pretty cool. Game 1 there, we've got the Cardinals winning the opener. Game 2 was Mel Stottlemyre, who was like a rookie, only came up halfway through the year. Beats Bob Gibson. Bob Gibson's only World Series loss. He was 8-1 in his career in World Series. That's the only loss. Game 3, Yankees win again. Mickey Mantle, 9th inning home run. He hit it off of Buddy Schultz. That pitcher there, it's kind of like a Bob Gibson follow through, but it wasn't Gibson pitching. Maybe Buddy Schultz had the same kind of follow through. I'm not sure. But that's Mantle hitting that home run in the 9th inning. And then we got the Cardinals coming back in Game 4, tying it up. On MVP that year, Ken Boyer hitting a grand slam. Next game, Bob Gibson started again. He went all 10 innings in this one, as the Cardinals scored 3 in the 10th to win it 5-2. And Yankees, young phenom there, Jim Bouton, writer of ball 4, won Game 6 for them, went the distance. He won 2 of those World Series games, 2 of their 3 wins. And so it goes to a Game 7, tied 3-3. Cardinals come back with Bob Gibson pitching on 2 days rest, and he goes the distance in the finale. Nice picture there. You can read this. How I got a lot of my baseball history was reading backs of baseball cards. And it talks about St. Louis pitcher Bob Gibson survived a 9th inning rally by the Yankees as the Cardinals won the '64 World Championship title. Pitching on just 2 days rest, Gibson set a World Series strikeout mark, fanning 31 Yankees in 27 innings. So pretty cool. And there's the Cardinals celebrating on that card. So now we go through the teams. First place team, 99 wins that year, is the New York Yankees. See their lineup there with their catcher Elston Howard, Pepitone. Good double play combo, Bobby Richardson, Tony Kubek. And then here's your Mantle, and you can see my 65 Mantle card is way off center, but I got a story on that one, and I don't know if I'm ever going to get rid of that card even though it's way off center. I got this card at a show that I went to in the Twin Cities in the late 70s. I was probably like 7th, 8th, maybe 8th grade at the time. All I had for money was my paper out money, and I had a friend of mine who drove me and my brother, my friend, his brother, to that show. And at the end of it, they had an auction, and one of the things they were auctioning off was a sheet. It had 9 cards on it, and one of them in there was this 65 Mantle. It was all stars, so I think there was a Bob Gibson in there. It might have been a Koufax in there. And anyway, the bidding's going. It starts at like $5 or something. It gets up. I bid, put my hand up when they get to $11, and getting really nervous because young kid with not that much money, man, can I afford $11? But kind of half hoping somebody would outbid me, but they didn't, and I won that sheet of 9 cards for $11, including this way off center Mantle. And that may be the reason I don't replace it. I mean, it does have super corners and stuff. It's just way miscut, and just a sentimental card for me that I'll probably treasure as one of my top cards, just because of how I got it and the age I was when I got it. But Mantle's last, kind of real good year there, with over 100 ribbies, hit over 335 homers. And as he kind of went towards the twilight of his career, the Yankees didn't get to another World Series for several more years. I think it was 78 was their next one after that 64 season. But here you can see the rest of them. And look at their manager card here. It's Johnny Keane, who was the manager of the Cardinals in that World Series. Yogi Berra was their manager, but they parted ways a day after the World Series. And Ralph Hulk, their GM, later ended up hiring the Cardinals manager, Johnny Keane. Here's their pitching staff. Whitey Ford, Bouton, Al Downing, Pedro Ramos, kind of towards the end of his career. Relief pitchers, here's their upcoming rookies. No real stars coming for the Yankees, which is part of the reason they were going down. Actually got an autograph card of Johnny Blanchard. He was at, I think it was a Twins Fest. He's from Minnesota and ended up getting his auto on that card. Mel Stottlemyre here wasn't one of their regular starters during the season, but he was big in the World Series. Second place team, just one game out, was the White Sox. And you look at their lineup, and you're like, how did they win 98 games? Not much there. And Buford okay, but their pitching staff, these three starters were three of the top 5 in the whole league in ERA that season. Gary Peters, Joe Horland, and Juan Pizarro. You also got Dave DeBusschere, NBA star. And then a bullpen, he was 41 that season, Hoyt Wilhelm. And you can see there, 73 games in relief, 131 innings with a 1.99 ERA, throwing that knuckleball. And probably little did he know, he was still going to have 7 more cards worth of seasons, even though he was 41 years old. There's their rookies and their bench. You got Tommy John there. Smokey Burgess had a 52 card. More of their bench. Third place team, the Orioles, an up-and-coming team. They were going to end up winning the '66 World Series, so just another year after this. They got a couple Hall of Famers there at short and third base. Aparicio and Brooksy. Boog was still in the outfield. Ended up being a great first baseman. And then a really good pitching staff. Wally Bunker. Milt Pappas, who they made a great trade for, getting Frank Robinson. You got Hall of Famer Robin Roberts. Upcomer Dave McNally. Steve Barber was a good pitcher. There's their relief. And then you can see on their rookie cards, Kurt Blefary. And then this one, Paul Blair, Dave Johnson. That's a pretty cool rookie card. 2 of the guys that ended up being stars of their upcoming, that 66, 69, 70, 71 World Series teams. And then you can see some of their bench. Fourth place team, Detroit Tigers. Now here's another up-and-coming team. They're going to get in the 68 World Series. There's a couple of their big stars of that team. McAuliffe, who ended up at second base. Wirt, Gates Brown, ended up being a good pinch hitter. Al Kaline. Kind of forget how good he was. He's a card, kind of cool. Look at the back. I like the backs of these 65 cards. But anyway, he was just 29 years old that season, that 64 season. And as you can see there, he's already got almost 1,900 career hits, over 200 homers, 307 lifetime average. So Kaline was really good. And then you can see some of their bullpen. These are rookie cards. I guess I kind of skipped over. Here's their starting pitchers at that time. You got Mickey Lolich, as he was real young yet. And then their bench, just kind of up and coming, included these 2 guys. Huge keys on the 68 team. And there's your bench. Now the 5th place team, kind of interesting. They're the only expansion team. That 61 to 62, there were 4 expansion teams, and you notice 3 of the 4 are right at the end of the finish in the 64 season. Other than the Los Angeles, they were at that time Angels, they were actually over 500 and finished in 5th place. The lineup doesn't look that great. Jim Kurgosi and Bobby Knopp were good double play combo. A little 5'5" center fielder there, and L.B. Pearson. But great pitcher there in Dean Chance. That 64 season, he won 20 games, had a 1.65 ERA, led the league. It's one of the best ever, and he was, I think, 22, 23 years old that season. You see some of the rest of the Angels, the rookies. You got Jose Cardinal, had a really nice career. Some good players on that card. Rudy May had some good years. And then some of their bench here. They got, actually they're listed at 7th place, but they're tied for 6th here. Cleveland Indians. They're not a really strong hitting lineup. And Rocco Calavito. But some good pitchers, a couple lefties at the top of the rotation. Sonny Siebert, Louis Tiant. And of interest, Sonny Siebert is a pretty decent starting pitcher. And this the 65 pack I've got, the one thing you can see through there is, oh, we gotta get the right direction. That is Sonny Siebert. That you can see through in the back of that card, which you see his card number there is 96. So they don't list it as a second series, but when we look at the checklist at the end, we'll see who my possibilities in that pack, that unopened pack, could be. Louis Tiant there, very young yet. The cool card I like. And then you see some of the Indian rookies. No real big stars there. And their bench. Then you got the team that tied the Indians for 6th place, the Minnesota Twins, just under 500. And then interestingly, in 65, they ended up in the World Series. So they really turned it around. But they've got a good hitting lineup here with Earl Batty, Bob Allison. You got Zoilo Versailles, who ended up winning the MVP in 65. Trollin's good hitter. Harmon Killebrew was still in the outfield. Jimmy Hall, Tony Oliva, and I got to show this one, just like Dick Allen in 64. Just amazing rookie season. I think he was even better than Dick Allen. See that 109 runs scored, 217 hits as a rookie, 43 doubles, 32 homers, 94 ribbies and hits, 323 to lead the league. And that's as a rookie. That's pretty awesome. And then their pitching staff, led by Camille Pasquale, Jimmy Cott, who they misspelled his name, Mudcat Grant, who in 65 ended up as a 20-game winner. Jim Perry ended up winning a Cy Young later in his career. Cesar Tovar ended up being a really good MLBer. And the bench, I got Don Mincher with 23 homers on the bench from that 64 team. Now we get down to 8th place, and we got the Boston Red Sox. Bob Tillman, who we just got in this. Find him here. There he is. Card we just got in our little pull from today. Eddie Broussard was a pretty good shortstop. Tony Conigliaro, early part of his career. There you got Yaz. What a cool card. Hall of Famer. As a player, Billy Herman was their manager. Got a pretty decent starting staff here. Dave Moorhead, I see that card and I think Willie Stargell's coming next, because that's how it's been in that vending box. Really good reliever. This is a cool back you got to look at. Dick Raditz, big time reliever. And look at those last 3 seasons. And this season here, 79 games, 157 innings in relief. You don't get a lot of starting pitchers throwing that anymore. With a 16-9 record, 181 strikeouts. 181 strikeouts, 157 innings in an era where the average is probably 4 to 5 strikeouts per 9. ERA of 2.29. Year before that, he had 162 strikeouts and 132 innings in relief. And the year before that, another big strikeout season. So quite a reliever. Unbelievable ERAs. That guy threw hard. Rookie cards. So this is kind of a pre-coming here too to the 67 team of the Red Sox that went to the World Series. So after these Yankees were done, for World Series, you got 65 Twins, 66 Orioles, 67 Red Sox, 68 Tigers, and 69 back, 69, 70, 71 back to the Orioles. So Jim Longberg was a huge player on that 69 team. And I thought, let me look, where's the other? Oh yeah, Rico Patricelli was also on a rookie card that year. Took over Eddie Broussard's spot. Was a really good shortstop and then third baseman for a while. 9th place, you got your other expansion team from 61, the Washington Senators. The Washington Senators, they've been around forever, but they moved to Minnesota in 61, and then they gave them a new franchise that year that was this expansion team that wasn't very good. They are now the Texas Rangers. They had a manager here who's now in the Hall of Fame, Gil Hodges. But they, now as the Texas Rangers, what was that, 71, I think they moved there. Rangers this year are in the American League Championship Series against the Astros. Not a lot of stars on this Senators team. The guy was with Pete Rose there on a rookie card. Joe Cunningham and Roy Sievers had some good earlier years, but they were close to done at this stage. And then the last place team, the Kansas City Athletics, was another team who was kind of up and coming. They were going to get playoffs in 71 and then 3 straight World Series, 72 through 74. And you can see some of their guys. And there's Dick Green is a guy who did carry over. And I think, one of the interesting things on this A's team, you look at Jim Gentile's jersey, it's black and red, and they kind of set up the 65 cards with that black and red color scheme similar to the Cardinals, which is really, it's really sharp, I think. But then the A's went and changed their colors to this orange and green that we know them so well for in the Charlie Finley days, and still. But it still kind of looks sharp in there. But there you got Campy Campaneris, who, is still part of those World Series teams. Orlando Pena, starting pitcher. Love listening to Orlando from Collector's Dream. Give some of his shows, and he talks about meeting Orlando Pena in a couple of those. I think his dad knew him. He was from Cuba. Just great story. Sounded like he was a pretty cool guy. You got Diego Segui, who ended up in that 70 season leading the league in ERA. And then they've got some good rookies coming here. Blue Moon Odom. And look at that, Jim Hunter's rookie card. So there's a Hall of Famer rookie card. And a few of their other players. Ken Harrelson young there. And then 2 guys get rookie cards that weren't just one team. And one of these ends up being a huge rookie card. It's Tony Perez. He's one of the elite Hall of Famers. On a pretty cool card. And then it ends with the checklist cards. And I was gonna, this pack here looked like it was a Series 2, so who could we get if we were to crack that pack? You got Bill Mazeroski, Ken Boyer got number 100, Ron Santo, Bobby Richardson, Frank Robinson's in there. What else do we have? Al Kaline, got the World Series cards. Dean Chance was really good that year. Louis Tiant. 150 is Brooks, so Brooks Robinson. We got Roger Maris in there. Roberto Clemente at 160. 170 is Hank Aaron. So we got Clemente and Aaron and Willie McCovey as possibilities if we ever decide to crack this guy open. So pretty cool. Anyway, that is it for this vending box and also for the 65 set. I won't be done. I've thought of a bunch of other stuff I'd like to do, so I'll keep putting out some content, so look for that. But thanks for going with me through this journey, going through this 71 vending box. Been a ton of fun. For me, I am going to end up doing some grading with some of these cards, and we'll see what they get. I'll show that, as well as a bunch of other stuff here in the future. So thanks a lot. It is now dark. We never got the cool colors I was hoping for in sunset that we sometimes get. But have a good night.